Hey y'all, it's Kalia Monique. My first name's Kalia, my middle name's Monique. It's Kalia Monique, and today I have the mid-year book freakout tag. Did I say that right? Mid-year? Yeah. It was very humbling for me to count out how many books of mine I have not yet read. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. It's just so exhausting. Oh my god, no pictures, please. I'm yelling at them, just leave, get out, like leave now. We don't need to go through all this. Why are you heading towards trauma on purpose? I love you too. You're literally sunshine as a person, but thank you so much. Question number one. I'm gonna go ahead and mention I will link the original creators video, or I will link the original creators channel down below. And yeah, so like literally let's get into this now. So first up, what is the best book that I've read so far? And honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest, this this year has not been the greatest reading year for me personally. I have been going through personal things. It has slowed my reading progress down so much. What books have I read? How many books have I read is what I meant to ask. I've read, because I just updated this morning, I have read 43 books. Oh, that's not bad. I don't know why I feel like it is bad. Maybe because I keep seeing all my friends finishing their goals and I'm like, I remember when that was me. Anyways, the best book that I have read yet in 2022, honestly, it has no competition. It is a standout read for this year. I feel like last year I might have been questioning it a bit. No, it is completely and utterly. It's here on display. Please don't knock anything else over. But Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Please don't look at the thing. Can you see it? It doesn't matter. But I have annotated this to filth. I really loved Lauren as a main character. This book made me feel so many things. It is so realistic. It takes place in a futuristic world, or at least it did when it was published. It was published in what, like 19... I think, did she pass in my birthday or year, or was this book published in my birthday year? One of the two. I think it was published in 2000. I was not born in 2000. I think that it was published in 1998. Either that or she passed away in 1998, which sad. But the point is, 1990s is when this book was published, and it was supposed to tell the story of a dystopian future in which all hell breaks loose. People done lost their damn minds. The environment is a mess. Literally, all things go wrong. This book. Listen, if what has happened in here has not happened yet, it's going to. It is so accurate. The entire time I was reading this, I was like, this feels very much like the atmosphere of the US at the moment. It very much feels like there would be descriptions of natural disasters that have occurred. I was like, I know you're a sci-fi author, so there has to be some knowledge of science in your work. But are you serious? Like, you really... She predicted the future, and I'm sure she could tell. I mean, clearly she could, because this book was now. It takes place in 2025, I believe. Yeah, 2025. We're in 2022 at the moment. I was going to say 2023. We're in 2022 at the moment, and so many other things have already happened. With the amount of current events occurring at the moment, like I said, anything that has not happened yet, I feel like will be happening quite soon. I am terrified. But in this book, Lauren just provided so much. I've mentioned this before, but she has hope, but in a very realistic way of like, yes, where we're currently going through is complete crap. But if we were to have more empathy towards others, if we cared a bit more and treated each other as a community and cared for the earth more and cared for each other more in community, and it wasn't so much of a survivalist mentality or a individualist mentality, then there is some hope to be found there. And honestly, coming from my background, I never talked too in depth about my work, but I work with a nonprofit, and the hope I saw within Lauren is a lot of the hope that I see within myself and people that I work with, of like, yeah, our current situation is crap. This is how we might be able to preserve it and like save it. And these are the foundational things that need to change within it. I love the discussion of religion and how she's and how Lauren really is like creating her own religion. And I just love how it was done. Like, it was so beautiful and so great and just a standout read. Now, the thing about that is my heart has been hurting since the beginning of the year. And it's been very hard to get straight into the next book. But one thing that is really driving me to want to get into the next book is the fact that one of my sisters had already read this book before I read it, and she loves it. And my other sister just finished reading it, like literally yesterday, I believe, and she loves it, and she's about to go into the second book. Like, I'm like, how can you just rush into the second book like that? I don't have the heart for that. But go off, sis. But also, like, just me and my sisters being able to talk about this book and rave about this book and just how Octavia Butler was spot on definitely contributes to my love for this book. It's just another thing that like adds community with me and my sisters, and you know, it's just a great book. Now, when will I get into Parable of the Talents, you ask? I have no clue, but this book was just so dang great. If you're looking for a, what is it called, synopsis of the book, I'm gonna try to do any synopses that I need to do in like a tagline format, because honestly, with that book, that's all I can really do, and I'm going to go ahead and assume that the other books are going to be the same way. My tagline, my favorite tagline that is actually in the book for this, is that Parable of the Sower follows Lauren, who feels twice as much in a world that is doubly dehumanized. And baby, dehumanized is the way to go. Like, people are definitely in survival mode, and unfortunately, that does not include others or creating community or fostering community. It is, I'm going to protect me and anyone that I am sexually involved with, or any children that we end up having. And I just love this book, because they were kind of the outcast. They were refusing to do so, and it was just every time, there was so much loss in this book, and every loss impacted me. It was a really great read. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just really great. And when the world goes crap, I hope we have some Laurens around. The second question is, what is the best book sequel that I've read so far? Have I read a sequel? I have. Where did I put it? Alright, so for this one, I'm going to choose The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I'm pretty sure this is the only series I've kept up with all year. Very much in the realm of very much in the spirit, in the mindset of not finishing series this year. Not intentionally, but this, however, is a part of the Happily Ever Romance Readathon that Sydney Page from Sydney Page Books hosts, and therefore I'm participating. I need to keep up with the books, and so I've had no choice but to keep up with this series. And you know what? I'm enjoying it, because The Mistake by Elle Kennedy is the best sequel I've read thus far. That being said, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the only sequel I've continued to, like, the only book that counts as a sequel that I've read. This one has more emotional attachments to me. So yeah, in the first book we got to learn about Dean and Hannah's story. In this one we get to learn about Logan and Grace's story. And Logan I loved just like I loved Garrett. Did I say Garrett before? Doesn't matter. But he was just as cute. I loved their story. I loved how he courted Grace. It was just a cute little time the entire time. I really enjoyed it. So, The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. Like I said, this is the second book in a series. It is a standalone series, so you can read them out of order if you would like to. but the couples do appear in each other's books. This one in particular follows John Logan, and one problem that he is facing right now, outside of his like overall life and his upbringing, that is a part of his story. But one thing that he is dealing with right now is the fact that he feels like he is in love with his best friend's girlfriend. And of course, this is his best friend. This is his girlfriend. He doesn't want to have feelings for her, but he does feel like he's in love with her. And so he is trying to do whatever he can to get over those feelings for her. And along the way, he meets Grace, and all of a sudden, he might be feeling some feelings towards her. So it's all about how they navigate a relationship and how he courts her to ask for forgiveness for what he did. I love how I said I was going to do like one-liners. Nope, I'm going to do crappy synopsis instead. The next question is new release that I haven't read yet but want to. This is actually on my cart because I really, really want to read it, but I haven't gotten a chance to. Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is one of my most anticipated releases for 2022. I have been raving and just wanting to read this book so bad. The synopsis of this book reminds me so much of one of my favorite Chinese like mythological dramas that I watched a while ago and actually have like rewatched a million times because it's like a comfort show for me, if I'm being completely honest. And for some reason I can never remember the name of the show. I'll have it like here floating though. I really love that show, and the vibes that from reading the synopsis, hearing what people are saying, the vibes of that show kind of remind me of how this book is described. And so I really want to read it. My excuse for not getting to things all year is going to be that I just have not mentally been there. Like I haven't. But hopefully that'll change soon and I will be able to get to this. This follows the daughter of the Moon Goddess, in which she finds herself needing to save her mother. And that means that she has to align herself with, what is the god of? Oh, he's not the god of anything. The Emperor's son. So she has to align with the Emperor's son to save her mother in some way or some fashion. I don't really know. Like I said, mainly it reminded me of a Chinese like mythological fantasy drama that I watched. I think the first time was like pre-pandemic, but I've watched it since then, and that's saying a lot because there's like 60 episodes, each like an hour or more long, and I still was just like, I would like to dedicate all the time to rewatching this over and over again. So hopefully I feel the exact same way about this book. I've heard great things about it. I heard that the writing is fantastic and beautiful. I already feel like drawn to the story, but I've heard that the story is also really great and the way it's told is fantastic as well. Next up, it's most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Honestly, I felt like the second half of the year had so many of my like most anticipated releases attached to them in the first place. So Legendborn #2, I forget the name of it, and honestly, I have purposely just pushed that book out of my mind because I want it so bad. I want it so bad that if I continuously remember how much I want it, including like the name of the damn book, I'm just gonna be like crying that I don't have it yet. But Legendborn, the second book, Bloodmarked. Damn it, I remembered. Bloodmarked. I really want that book. Also, Amari #2. Amari and the Great Game was the first one, right? Nope. It's Amari and the Great Game. I'm remembering the names of these books. Oh no. I want to read them so bad, and their dates keep getting pushed back, or they just had later dates in the first place, and I want the book. I want the book. I'm not sad or disappointed. Don't I deserve some good things this year? I feel like I deserve some good things, okay? The beginning of my year was absolute crap, and I would just really appreciate some good news. Next up is Biggest Disappointment. I have mentioned this in a recent video, but Bunny by Mona Awad. As I mentioned in that video, I think that the atmosphere for the book was really good. It had a lot of things that drove me towards the book, from like references that I could think of towards like Get Out. I want to say, I don't even know if it's a reference because I don't know if it was intentional, but there were similarities between the book and Get Out, especially when it came to atmosphere. I kind of sort of like the story surrounding it. Just the way I was reading the book, the place I was in while reading the book, and the fact that I got the plot twist really early in reading the book just really disappointed me, because I had just heard so many great things. I had heard so many great things about the author, and I definitely will read more books from the author. But yeah, that one just wasn't, it was very disappointing. Like, I did not want to give it a 2.5, which is what I settled on for the rating. I did not want to do that so badly, to the point where I do actually feel like I will read the book at some point. But yeah, it was just very disappointing for me to, like, I literally just sat and I reflected and I was like, okay, you know how you felt for the majority of the time reading this. But there's these elements and there's this and that and this, but how did you enjoy the book? And it was just like, so ultimately the fact that I love the atmosphere, the fact that I love the vibes, and again, those things I could like connect to Get Out, all of that encompassed with like my enjoyment. That's why I did the like extra 0.5, because I was just like, I can't give this book just 2. That doesn't feel right. But yeah, I was really disappointed. Once I finished the book, I was like, oh, okay, darn. But I do hope that, I mean, again, a lot of people really enjoy this book. Do not let my disappointment of it hinder you from reading it. Totally go out and read it. It's up to you. Reading is subjective. Yeah, subjective. Reading is subjective. Do your own thing. Don't let me hinder you from what could be greatness to you. So, biggest surprise this year. I don't know. Let's find that out. Let's figure it out. For our biggest surprise this year, I'm going to go for Somebody's Daughter, which is a memoir by Ashley C. Ford. So about this book, one goal for me this year, I didn't explain what Bunny was about. That's because I can't. Like, there is a group called the Bunnies, and there is Samantha, who is not a big fan of the Bunnies because they have these kind of like bubbly, doesn't seem like they're very serious, but yet here they are in this master's program, and honestly they are the bane of Samantha's existence. That is, of course, until she gets an invitation to join them. Chaos ensues. So the next book for my biggest surprise this year is Somebody's Daughter, a memoir by Ashley C. Ford. So one of my greatest goals for this year was to read a nonfiction a month. I was doing so good until June hit and I messed up. But honestly, reading Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford was one of the very motivating factors in keeping that ball rolling. Like, I was like, yeah, I want to read more nonfiction this year, and I have said that literally every year. So did I believe that I was going to read a nonfiction every month? Definitely thought it was going to be very challenging, but this being one of the first nonfictions I had read at the beginning of this month, or did I keep saying month? I'm sorry. But this being one of the nonfictions that I read at the beginning of this year really motivated me to just keep reading more nonfiction and keep reading memoirs, because I related so much to Ashley's relationship with her mother, and of course me and my mom have a great relationship now, but there is just a lot of similarities between like when she was younger and how she viewed her mom that I could really relate to. And just, yeah, her story was both the relatability of her story really helped me to care more for her as a person and to be more invested in the rest of her story that I couldn't necessarily relate to. That being said, content warnings for this book. There are mentions of sexual assault in this book. It happens in like one chapter, I believe, maybe two. It happens in like 2 chapters, and honestly, it's kind of a great deal a part of her story, But a good portion of her memoir and a good portion of the essays in this book don't necessarily delve too much upon the sexual assault that she has experienced and other facets of ways that it impacts her story. And so I do recommend it, but of course, what you can handle better than I do. Do with the content warning what you will. Again, you better than I do. So yeah, if you can handle that type of subject matter or not. That being said, really loved her story. It was just so beautiful. It just felt like a lot of reflection. And I know that's like what memoirs are, but again, since I could relate to certain aspects and certain ways she thought about relationships or like certain interactions she dealt with in like her early years, I felt for her more in instances where I couldn't relate to her. I had a lot more empathy, or I'm just an empathetic person in general. But it really hit home, and I loved how she connected each, like, it's a small memoir. Like, it's a tiny little thing, and not a single word was lost. Not a single word was a filler. Every word meant something to that paragraph. Every paragraph meant something to that chapter, and every chapter meant something for the overall message of this book. And I really love that intentionality of reading and enjoyment for my reading experience. That being said, Somebody's Daughter is a memoir focused on a woman whose father was incarcerated for her early years in life, and it's just her reflection on how that impacted her in her youth and growing older. Next up is favorite new author, either new to you or a debut. Fonda Lee. I have only read Jade City. However, from the way this book is written, the plot devices, the character development, all of it, I know that I trust this author with my heart. Like, wherever you lead me, I will go. Let me go ahead and finish the other two books before I say that any new release the author releases, I will be reading. But every new release that this author releases, I will be reading. It'll be right up in my priority. This was such a great book to read, and I cannot wait to continue the series. Like, I'm excited to continue the series eventually, but for now, I just know I can't. But that being said, Fonda Lee is definitely one of my favorite authors that I have gotten the pleasure of reading this year. Not to mention, when someone asked me what my favorite book has been this year, I did say Parable, but I was like, if you care about fantasy, Jade City. So it was a contender, but I'm trying really hard to stick with one book per question because I just did a specific book rec that was way too long to edit, and that was because I could not stop. I couldn't just be quiet and recommend one book, so I'm on my butt about that now. Newest fictional crush. I just put them back. Oh, but it's not that low in the pile. The Deal. But what? Garrett from the Off-Campus series definitely counts. I was like, what do I have to explain about this? Garrett from the Off-Campus series. I love the way he talked about Hannah when they were just friends. Like, trust was so important to him, and I honestly, trust is very important to me. So the fact that even as him just thinking of her as a friend, he was just like, I want you to trust me, and whatever you need to do, whatever I need to do for you to trust me, I will do it. And I'm here for you. And just that meant the absolute world to me. It was so cute, and I absolutely loved it. Just, there was lines in this one that I was just like, you have my heart, Garrett. But also, because clearly I'm only drawing from a select group of books that I've read this year, but Hilo. I hesitate quite a bit because I haven't finished the series, but Hilo, I love him so much. I love his character so much. I was going to say some things, but then I'm scared because I haven't finished the series. But Hilo, I like that. I love his bad boy persona, kind of. But most of all, I just love how much he cares about his family and how his gang, or his group counts as his family. Like, those that he decide are his family, he cares for them so deeply and passionately, and he will do anything to protect them to the ends of the earth. And I love it and I support it. And you know what? That grain of crazy in him, I also love that. It's fitting for the environment he's in, so I love it, okay? Newest favorite character. Okay, so I'm not going to grab the books for this one, but because I've already grabbed them, and the other one is literally at the bottom of a pile, so it's not happening. But I'm going to go ahead and say Lauren from Parable of the Siren. For all the reasons I stated before, I love the way she embodies her hope, and I love her intentionality and the way that she navigates life by just reflecting on her experiences and what she notices. I'm very similar in that same way. Like my brother once said, I had a project in school once, and so I had to like reach out to people that know me very well. So I reached out to my siblings, and my brother was like, one thing that because I had to ask them, what is something that you think I don't know about myself? And he was just like, you're very observant, and I like how you sit back and observe the world before you interact with it. Lauren was very similar in that way. Like, I liked how she sat back, observed the world, and then interacted the way she felt it was more impactful in a positive light in the world. So Lauren, for sure, standout character. She stands out in my mind all the time. Also, Wrath. Go ahead and add him to Crush, because I really, really love Wrath in Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the Wicked. But he is also one of my favorite characters. This one I can't explain why, but all I know is if I had to choose between saving Amelia and saving Wrath, I would pick Wrath, and he does not need saving. At some point, Amelia's finally going to show us the power that she has within her, and we're going to realize she don't need saving either. But yeah, I'm Wrath. But yeah, he's a favorite character of mine. Like this one, I can't even, it's no standout reason. There's just something about the way he talks, the way he's very calculated, and I like it. Book that made me cry. So many. I cry all the time, you guys. And I've been reflecting on that recently of like, why do I cry so much for books? Recently, like it doesn't even need to be while I'm reading the book now, apparently. Because recently I was just thinking about the deal, and I was thinking about Hannah and what she's gone through in life. So, you know, content warnings for the deal. Hannah's story deals with sexual assault that happens off page prior to when the book first takes place. But that is a huge part of her story. So content warning there. That being said, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the books because I have just recently finished The Score, and so I was thinking about the other two books in that series that I have read before, and I was just thinking about Hannah, and I was like, she really had to go through that, and I got teary-eyed. I dang near started crying for a fictional character for something that didn't even happen during the book, and she's not real. Like, what? But, yeah, I'm very emotional when it comes to books, and I've been reflecting on this recently of, like, why do I cry so much when I'm reading books? And I honestly think it's just because, like, I'm an emotional person. I have so many, I don't hold back tears. I don't like crying in front of people necessarily, but I cry all the time. So I'm just a very emotional person. I guess very empathetic person, so just, like, hearing sad things will make me cry. That being said, a book that I cried in, I've pulled out this book already, but another book that made me cry was This Close to Okay. Like, This Close to Okay. This right here, his name is also Carrot, I believe. No, it's something else. It's some real Emmett. I kind of had it. Emmett here, his story is really, really sad, and I can't share that with you guys because that would be a spoiler, but his story involves something very, very sad. That being said, the book is about Tilly here, who, on her way home back from work one day, finds a man on a bridge seeming to want to unalive himself, and so she makes it her mission to make him want to live past the time that they spend together. They end up spending a weekend together, and Tilly's mission is to make it so that he wants to continue to live once their paths no longer are crossed. That being said, Garrett, Emmett is in a situation where he wants to unalive himself. It is sad. When you finally find out how he ended up on that bridge, it is extremely sad. And way too real. It's the tears that are shed because of real, like, it is very plausible that someone has gone through what Emmett had to go through in this book. And it just broke my heart so much. So yeah, this close to okay. Recommend it, but content warnings are there because it's really sad. But I just love these characters so much. In all honesty, the majority of the book isn't overly sad, but once you find out what Emmett's story is, it's like, how do you come back from that? Which, I mean, I guess that's the same question Emmett was asking. That was sad. Next up, book that made you happy. The Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Tapestry, and the Tea Dragon Festival. The festival is the second one. Tea Dragon Society, Tea Dragons, okay? The Tea Dragon series. It goes Society, Festival, Tapestry. Okay? Cool. I guess it's this way. I'm not doing it again though. Anyways, those make me so happy. They bring a smile to my face every time. I got myself a little tea dragon. I look at it and it makes me happy. This series is the cutest thing ever. It is a warm hug. And it's also one of those books that I can't wait to share with my niece, or literally I can share with my nephews now, but it's great for all ages. It's feels like a warm hug. It makes me so happy, especially when we get into the Tea Dragon Tapestry, which is the final book. It provides some closure for the first book, and it just felt like a warm hug, and it made me so happy. I just look at my face. I can't stop smiling thinking about it. So just lovely. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I thought this was about to be hard, and I literally, boom, just look straight at it. Bought or received, by the way. It's bought or received, but there's this one book that I bought. And yes, I know I have special editions of books, and they are all beautiful, and I love them. So I'm not even telling y'all. I'm telling the books. I don't know if y'all hear me or care, but I love you all. You're beautiful. I love you so much. This book has my favorite color as the main color, though. So, The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fanoni Jeffers. Oh, I really don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. I need to look that up. But look at it. Look at it. Okay, so listen. Orange is my favorite color. I love the color so much. It just makes me so happy. This color brings me so much joy. It makes me so happy. And whenever I think about why orange is my favorite color, like little Kalia getting orange mixed up with yellow, but then just sticking with it once I figured it out, it just makes me happy all the more. And it's so, like, the cover, look at the book, okay? It is such a pretty book. It's just such a pretty book, and it's so lovely, and I just knew I wanted it in my collection, and I wanted it in a hardcover so bad. It's such a thick book. I don't know when I will, oh my god, it's over 700 pages. I don't know when I will finally get to it, but I'm gonna get to it. It's so beautiful. I know nothing of this. I know a little. I read about it before, but I forgot. Oh, I remember why I haven't read it yet. Because it deals with heavy topics. Particularly this, again, I'm just going to pick a line to read. But, and the fact that it's coming from double consciousness as well. Oh, I want to read it so bad. I just don't know if I have the headspace for it. But it says that it chronicles the journey of one American family from the centuries of the colonial slave trade through the Civil War to our own tumultuous era. I want to read it so bad. It is huge. Over 700 pages. I never actually got to figure out when it stops. Like, what is the final page? Okay, so we have about the author there. Is this another one of the, that's another one of the things. Okay, so it's like, it goes from one to the next. It is 797 pages. I've read that much before in a book. Okay, if I could do that for SJM, I can surely do it for this book. Okay, look how beautiful it is. Gorgeous, stunning. A moment. I love it. Next up is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So many. I had 22 books of 2022 that I really wanted to read. Haven't read most of them, I'm going to say. I don't know for a fact. Haven't looked back at that video. But I'm pretty sure I haven't read most of them. So all of those that I haven't read yet. I had most anticipated releases that I haven't read most of them of. But I'm going to choose books that weren't in either of those lists because I don't know. I don't think I like myself. First of all, by the end of this year, I absolutely want to read Daughter of the Moon Goddess. That was on my new releases of 2022 that I really wanted to read. I want to read it. I hope I read it before the end of this year. But another book that I'm going to add to that list is The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. Look at it. Is it focused on it? I can't tell if the lighting's on. Oh. Yeah, it is also a very beautiful book that I really want to get to, like, so soon. I don't remember what this book is about, and I honestly prefer it that way. This is actually one that I did read the synopsis for. And just ultimately with the map, you can see part of it there. And from what I read in the synopsis, the feeling that I had got while reading the synopsis and looking at that map reminded me of how I felt when reading the synopsis for Children of Blood and Bone. When I had read that book, it was like my favorite. I loved it. It was just such a great little atmosphere. It was so great. I loved it so much. And I was in a slump when I read that book. I'm pretty sure it was like the only book I had read that year. Well, that and the second book in that series. But it just felt so good. And now what I'm hoping from this is kind of those same feelings, but without the second book that makes me hate my favorite character, or, you know, a completion of the series. Because how you going, first of all, you made me hate my favorite character in the second book. Not hate. I don't hate her. I don't think I can hate her. You made me not like the actions of my favorite character in the second book. And then you just it just never continued. You ended the book like that, and then you don't finish it. That was a cliffhanger. If I end up, okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm hoping for all the good vibes and all the good things with this one, because look at how beautiful this cover is. I've heard great things about it from those that I'm following on Instagram, and I'm just ready to get to it, baby. I am ready. Oh, and then for the final question is favorite book community member. So this is favorite, like, Booktuber. I have two that have really stood out to me lately, and that's going to be, of course, Mel from Mel Reads. This channel would not exist without Mel. I can say that wholeheartedly with my full chest. We're almost at a year, like literally days away from it being a year by the time this video has been posted. It's been a year of having this channel. That would not be possible without Mel. Joining her community really encouraged me and empowered me to want to start this channel myself, and just getting to know Mel more over this year, or a little bit over a year now since the Citadel has formed, makes me love her even more. She is so funny. She is so kind and sweet, and just so she's such a caring individual. I have been very busy right now, so I haven't had a lot of time to check the Discords, but from seeing messages from Mel and Citadel support, it's just like, hey, those of you in America going through shit, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I am here for you, and I empathize with what you're going through. Things like that, little things that really show that she is just a very great person and has an amazing character. You know, she was raised right. I don't even know how to describe it, but she was just really great and caring and compassionate. And me and Mel, sometimes it's like a 50-50 shot. Sometimes our reading taste is very much similar, and sometimes it is very much not. But even though, like, not all the time, I'm going to her for book recommendations, her spirit is just so great. And the community that she creates, as much as she wants to be like, it's you guys, she's welcoming these types of people around her to support her. And yeah, like just follow the halo, because Mel's an angel, okay? And then also another booktuber whose book recs don't really align with what I'm reading at the moment. A lot of high fantasy, okay? But that is Erin from Booktuber. I am also a part of her Patreon, and she is also really great. It's themes. I don't necessarily need to like your book interests, or like I don't necessarily like need to love the genres that you love, but I do need to love you as a person, and Erin also fits within that. Anytime. And my favorite quotes from Erin have to do with like when she's reading a book where the main female protagonist is like down on her, or doesn't have a lot of money, and this man is offering her a ton of money, but she's too stubborn to take it, and Erin's just like, who does that? Like, I don't care what you think about this man, you need the money. Those times I love Erin, because so realistic. She says everything that I think and don't have the courage to say. She's completely funny. Again, just a nice warm spirit to like head towards. Like, again, she felt very much same thing. The aura around her is very light and beautiful. And again, even though I don't necessarily go for book recs, just watching, I love it when she has more than an hour long video. Just take me through your month, boo. I would love that. Okay? Erin from Booked and Busy, by the way. I don't think I stated her channel name, but Mel and Erin both have just been real guiding lights in this year for me. They have been really great. I haven't gotten the chance to actually like vocalize that to them, but my year has been so much. It's been a lot. It started out with some very devastating news, and I just kind of focused on this channel, focused on my work, and then just focused on like myself internally, and haven't really, you know, reached out to people and been like, hey, just so you know, you're helping me through this. But that both of them have absolutely helped me to deal with my grief and to kind of, what is it called, like escape into something happy and light. And I don't know if they know they're doing this, but I'm gonna say it now. You guys are an absolute light in this community, and I appreciate you for existing and for sharing your brilliance and your greatness with all of us. It honestly means the world to me. Like, it means a lot to me to have these two channels that I can just go to just decompress and not have to be overcome with my sadness at the time. I didn't mean for that to kind of seem so sad at the end of this video, because that is the end. That's the last question. But yeah, thank you, Mel, and thank you, Erin, for existing and sharing your community with us all. You're doing great things and impacting people's lives in a really great way. That being said, that is the end of this video. Those are all the questions. Honestly, I don't think I've answered questions in this short amount of time in a very long time. And I know if you're new here, that might not, whatever this ends up being edited down to might not seem very short, but for me it is. Go check what the other two videos are looking at for hours, okay? So, that being said, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my face, my voice, my actionness, go ahead and press that like button down below and press the subscribe button and bell notification if you like to be notified when I upload. If you like to stay connected with me as I like to stay connected with you, I of course will have all my social medias linked down below as well. And if you'd like to support this channel further, I will have my Ko-fi and Amazon wishlist linked down below as well. If you would like to comment something down below, comment, what is the prettiest book that you have purchased or received this month? Or sorry, this year. I love to know, because I'm literally just staring at myself in the orange and I'm like, wow, I look great in orange. That is my favorite color. What's your favorite color? What is your favorite aesthetic looking book that you have received or purchased this year? I really want to know. I want to look at some pretty things. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. I believe that is everything, although I am probably forgetting something because I always forget something. But bye, guys.